ESG, talk this a bit. ESG's gone a bit quieter in the last year or so, but it was really hot for the sort of 5 or 6 years. Maybe it still is hot, and it's, pardon the undeliberate pun. Has it gone quieter just because it's more mature? I mean, what's going on with ESG data?
I think when it first came out, I think it was due to regulation. This regulation came out, and you think, oh my goodness, I need something. So there are thousands and thousands and thousands of different ESG providers, from very small to, and it's what we would have called alternative data.
Yeah.
It's sort of the type of data that we've never even thought before. I remember being asked, right, we need to know the size of people's front doors, or we need to know what the sea level rising are, because if we were to build a hotel on a seafront, we want to know, is it going to be eroded? Is the hotel going to be? If we provide finance to build a hotel that's going to end up in the sea, we can't do that. So that sort of data was really new and really quite exciting to go and find out, or to find these different sources that we'd never heard of before. I mean, that was great.
And it was all lots of I remember doing a Google search for ESG data or ESG ratings or whatever. And as you say, there were hundreds. But my sense is over the last 2 or 3 years, a lot of them have been bought up by, Morningstar buying Sustainalytics. I think FactSet bought, was it True Cost or True Value? I can't remember. The big classic vendors have been buying
the big vendors
up.
Just went,
Yeah.
Some of that. What was really fun about ESG data is because there were so many of them offering very similar things, even in the big vendors.
Yeah.
You're looking for an ESG rating. And again, ESG rating was very different to the other ratings because one company could have 1 star with one company, and the variance of rating between two companies, because they were looking at different items to give their rating, could be massive.
Well, I mean, I've got to be in my bonnet. I think ESG is a silly idea. And let me explain what I mean. I don't think the concepts behind it are silly, but lumping together environmental, social, and governance, they're 3 quite distinct and separate things. And having a single rating, you really should have a rating for E and a rating for S and a rating for G.
I think the problem is it's very difficult to rate the S and the G. The G, maybe not so much, but to rate the S is difficult. But you need to, I think the intention behind it is very good. It's just the E bit is a lot more mature. The S and the G have yet to mature.
It's like electric cars are a great thing, but if you've got child labour in Africa digging up lithium, that's bad for the S, isn't it?
Yeah.
But and I mean, just the ratings, as I recall it, some rating agency might use, 100 is the best and 0 is the worst. And somebody else might use red, green, and blue. Somebody else might use AAAs, like the credit rate. They weren't using. They were using different data, but they were using different sort of terminology. I mean, it was a mess. It still is a mess, isn't it?
Yes, but I think people have now figured out what it is they need. There was a point where they were just taking everything. Now they're just going, do you know what? We just need X, Y, Z. And your MSCI and your Sustainalytics has pretty much hoovered up everything. You either go with, in terms of the ratings, let's just go with one.
I'd heard somebody else say that some firms were saying, I don't want your ratings. I don't really believe in your ratings. I want the data that enabled you to come up with those ratings. And I'll make my own internal rating. Just give me the data that is underlying that. Are you seeing that playing out?
Yes. But what I do like is that if somebody wants to be able to, they want a particular type of data, of ESG data, because there are several companies that offer this, what is the one chance, the biggest chance that market data has to do RFPs? We don't get very many opportunities to do RFPs.
You're a smile on your face when you talk about this.
Most of the time you do it maybe for desktop terminals, or you might have done it for news potentially, because generally know what you need and there's only one provider. You can't do RFPs. Here, bring it on.
I mean, so it's sort of newer areas gives you more flexibility to really practice your craft in its entirety, rather than just the narrow terms and conditions stuff. So that
I'd love to see some competition. It's nice to get to, okay, you're offering this, and you know that you're going against this other vendor, and they don't know which other vendor they're going against, that you're going against 2 or 3 other vendors.
Yeah.
Give me your best and try really hard.